Howdy everyone, it's me once again, the one and only Killer Dan. And today, I'm still technically going with my Halloween-a-thon, so I figured I would go out to the movies and watch another film for my marathon. Oh yeah, folks. This time around, it's going to be for a creature feature. So yeah, folks, Halloween, creature features, close enough in my book, folks. So yeah, I went to the movie theaters and there was quite a few people that actually went. I mean, you start off slowly, but it slowly became packed up, and that's a good thing. It was packed to the brim. And the movie I'm going to be reviewing is the new Godzilla film that came out this year. And yes, it's the Japanese version that came out with English subtitles. Oh yeah, folks. And like I said, it's for my Halloween-a-thon, my favorite time of year. It's a creature feature, folks, so close enough, I suppose. Oh yeah. I might as well use this as an excuse to talk about more Halloween-ish kind of things, folks. So yeah, I'll be reviewing the brand new Godzilla film that came out. Yeah, the film that was released in America in selective theaters, and it's the full Japanese version, of course. And of course, yes, no spoilers. Some people are going to be telling me, oh, please no spoilers. And yeah, well, I never give any spoilers to my movie reviews anyway. So you have nothing to worry about, folks. Go get a cup of coffee, folks, because there's quite a bit of this I want to review and talk about. Oh yeah. So just sit back and relax, folks. I will talk about this movie, obviously. But anyway, just like with any other movie, I have to talk about the plot of this particular movie. So let's begin, shall we? The film starts off with a boat being mysteriously attacked. It was abandoned at first for some odd reason. So yeah, this Japanese boat gets under investigation for some odd reason. They want to know why it's suddenly gone. So yeah, it's been abandoned at this Tokyo Bay for some odd reason. But then suddenly there's something in the water that attacks their boat. And then afterwards, we get to see that there's this mysterious Tokyo Bay line that is just flooded and collapses for some odd reason. Then of course, this threat becomes more serious, and they want to take care of it. Of course, the Japanese government does want to take up this particular problem. They believe that it must be taken care of right away, and they know that something isn't quite right, but they don't know what it is exactly at first. So yeah, they want to take care of this particular problem, folks. And just so you know, folks, this was meant to have like a fresh start for Godzilla himself. It's not a remake or anything, folks. They're not specifically remaking any Godzilla films. It's just starting from scratch. Go back to the drawing board, so to speak, folks. And that's the case with this particular movie, folks. Oh yeah. Of course, normally some research would have to be done on this particular event, and the radiation scales is off the charts, of course. And yeah, they have some politicians, they have some researchers and whatnot to take care of the problem. They have some people to do certain things so they can have like an immediate fix up right here, folks. But of course, it's only a matter of time where things get even worse. Of course, eventually they find the cause for this particular event, and this creature is now named Godzilla. Oh yeah, big surprise there, folks. No pun intended. Which is fine by me, folks, since they're trying to build this animal as some sort of mysterious force that was suddenly awakened, folks. The last Godzilla film that was released in America was the American version of Godzilla 2000. A lot of people were confused because they felt that this was supposed to be a sequel to the 1988 remake of Godzilla, which of course never turned out to be at all. And yeah, even Godzilla 2000 was meant as a do-over in some respects. But the thing is, Godzilla 2000 came over to America, folks. It almost opened with empty seats. So yeah, hardly anyone saw this movie, and it turned out to be a box office failure at the time, at least over in America. In Japan, it was a fairly big success over in Japan, folks. So I guess that's something there, folks. But the thing is, I would have to say that this brand new Godzilla film did receive a selective movie release. and it was selected in theaters just for a limited amount of time, folks. The live-action version of Blood the Last Vampire also released in selected theaters for a limited amount of time. So yeah, and this is an American film, so stating that, oh, Godzilla got a limited release because it's Japanese doesn't make a whole lot of sense. But the thing is that the fact that it got a limited release also really doesn't make a whole lot of sense as far as I'm concerned, because, folks, the thing is, well, I'll say it like this, folks. Japan and America are both capitalist countries. So you think the logical sense would have this film be released in as many theaters as humanly possible to put him as cash in for the character, especially considering the fact the more recent Godzilla film that came out 2 years ago in American theaters, it was actually a smash hit. It made so much money, it was actually in the theaters for an extended stay. So yeah, the question here is that why didn't they? That doesn't make a whole lot of sense. And besides, the character of Godzilla is pretty popular. You bring up his name and you would know who he is. So, and it's just weird, makes no sense, folks. But anyway, folks, this film does get a thumbs up for me, folks, because at the end of the day, it actually turned out to be a pretty good film. So yeah, I highly recommend this film, folks. At least catch that on DVD and Blu-ray, folks. Yeah, it may not be in the area that you might be in, but at least catch it on Blu-ray or DVD. I mean, of course, it all depends on the fact how well it does at the box office. It may or may not have an extended stay. But it does play tribute to the original Godzilla film in some ways, because they did bring up some of the original music from that film, and the traditional roar is back. Yeah, more specifically, the traditional roar is back. So, folks. And one thing I must give credit to is that they actually brought this event. Yeah, there's an event that happened to Japan quite a while ago. Oh, it wasn't that while ago. Yeah, this event was this earthquake, this aftershock, so to speak. It had occurred in Monday, 11th, 2011, on April. So yeah, this particular place had occurred with a massive earthquake. Those floods and this earthquake had been a result of some landslides that occurred in Japan. So this event served as an inspiration for certain things, folks. So yeah, they want to make it really similar to the events that had occurred in this particular time, which of course will make sense because of the fact they wanted to make this realistic. So yeah, it's tornadoes alerts that had been occurred, a few fires broke out, and over 4,000 households had lost electricity, and of course the officials had to do something about this, of course. So yeah, the earthquake itself had caused a lot of damage and killed several people and injured several others, of course. The strong ground movements had triggered a reaction of a nearby, you could say, this fault on the ground, so causing a lot of damage to be done even more. So yeah, folks, I actually like that about the film. Again, they're trying to go for realism here, well, as much as possible anyway. So yeah, there's some elements of drama in this particular movie, which of course is a good thing. It adds risk to the entire story. As for the acting, folks, the acting was actually quite good. I like the acting in this particular movie, folks. So it came off that they were taking what they were doing seriously. And I'll say I do appreciate that. It's not some punchline, it's not some cheap joke or anything, folks. So yeah, they didn't treat this as an actual joke. They treated this as an actual event that could have happened, folks. And they do realize that the original Godzilla film was meant to be like a metaphor for the nuclear bomb that was dropped at Japan at the time. And yes, they made some references to it, of course. You can see that coming, obviously. But anyway, folks, I'll say definitely check this out. Whenever you do have the chance, folks, I'll say give this a chance. Help this movie out in a lot of ways. So as mentioned before, the music was actually brought up from the original composer. The original composer of this movie had died a few decades ago, folks, in 1972, I believe. So a lot of his music was actually recycled here, folks. But I would say maybe, I guess the better word might be remixed in a lot of ways. Yeah, a lot of his music was remixed in this particular movie. And then, of course, there's some brand new music that was actually used as well, folks, which I guess is, of course, a good thing there. So, I do like the concept of this movie. The concept of this movie is pretty good, I guess you can say. So, it does give a good plus there, folks. And yeah, let me tell you, folks, Godzilla himself, Godzilla looks like an ugly-looking bastard right here, folks. Yeah, what ugly-looking motherfucker he is. Ugh. Now, remember that phrase, folks? A face only a mother can love? Well, even she'd be scared of this shit. I even give you nightmares, folks. So, yeah. So, I do like the design, folks. I mean, I'm not too keen on his design, really. Is it a bad design? No, it's actually a quite good design. It kind of reminds me of like a zombie version of Godzilla, which I'm fine with, of course. So, at first, when I saw the little sneak peeks of it, I was a little, I don't know, I didn't know about that. Again, it's actually a really good design. A really, really good design. It's really impressive. It looks really hideous, which is a good thing. Well, it's better than some of the other Godzilla films I watched. Oh boy. It's better than some of the other stuff I've seen. Yeah, at least it's better than some of the other shit I've seen, folks, in the past. So yeah, I'll give the film that. At least some credit for this. I mean, granted, yeah, there's a few things that could have just tweaked up here and there, but the film as a whole is actually pretty well crafted. I did like the editing. That wasn't too bad. I did like a lot of the camera angles for this film. A lot of the camera angles was actually quite good as well. Yeah, this film did have a pretty good budget, folks, and you can tell it has a really good budget as a whole. So the special effects were actually quite good as well. I do like the special effects for this particular movie. This is a Godzilla film, so of course I'm gonna have to talk about the destruction scenes. The destruction scenes are actually really well crafted, and I do like the scenes. They're really well shot. I mean, the entire film is really well shot, and the destruction sequences are really impressive, folks. Yeah, they really try to make Godzilla seem like he's a dangerous creature. Probably one of the most, if not the most dangerous creature on Earth. So they really make him seem like really serious and what he's doing, so folks. That's of course unless a powerful space monster from outer space suddenly visits Earth and threatens humanity. Which of course would make sense because you do want the monster to put a fight, of course, and show that Godzilla has this unbreakable will to never give up. And that's always been a theme in these movies, of course, and that pretty much continues. No matter what the odds are stacked against him, he just wants to keep going, which does make sense. When I think about that, folks, they probably gave the spirit of this character because of the fact that during a certain timeline of history, more specifically World War II, that's how the Japanese were. They want to keep fighting or keep going and going, despite the fact that odds are against them. So yeah, I guess that's what they got the inspiration for that. So yeah, it doesn't seem much of a stretch. That would be in this movie as well. So yeah, I want to get the return of Godzilla on Blu-ray someday. Oh boy, they done the same thing there, giving him this kind of spirit or whatever. And throughout the years, there's been many serious Godzilla films, which of course is a good thing. I mean, even Wonder Woman had many interpretations throughout the years as time went, folks, with different storylines, different writers and whatnot, different artists, yeah, and different storytellers would bring you all the story, and of course the art style changed as well, of course, over the years for the character of Wonder Woman. So yeah, I guess the same thing applies here. I mean, she was in Batman vs Superman for a short while, and that was a big hit, which led to the whole Solo movie as well, folks. So again, that would make sense. And the fact that she actually had a whole TV show as well. I mean, it was pretty fucking cheesy, but it was there. Well, she is a popular character. And I do wish they could have made that one film, Godzilla vs. Wolfman. Yeah, the film was directed and produced by this particular person and several other former filmmakers of Toho Company in 1983. The Toho Company had said they had nothing to do with or even approved of the film. But because of this film was pretty much remained unreleased, and it was considered as a lost film for over 30 years. So in recent years, the director himself had made several efforts to publicize the movie for the fans on attempting to push for an official DVD release. So maybe someday can actually watch that. And then for the Godzilla film, I'm pretty sure it will become on DVD one of these days, folks, and Blu-ray eventually. Yeah, it wouldn't make any sense if they didn't, folks. I guess it depends on the success of the limited release. It may or may not have an extended stay, like I mentioned before. But we'll just see how things will go, folks. Of course, from this point on, I really hope they would actually give it a Blu-ray release because I really do want to buy it. Ishiro Honda was the original director of the very first Godzilla film and several others. Yeah, he was offered to do another Godzilla film in 1984 for the Return of Godzilla, but he actually declared to actually work on that film. So yeah, in some ways he was offered to work on the Godzilla film, The Return of Godzilla, which in some ways is supposed to be like a starting over point for the series, but he just declined it because he felt that the character of Godzilla should have stayed permanently in the past and never be brought up again. Even though the film was meant to be more like a Cold War kind of a thing going on, which of course is neat. But maybe in some ways, folks, maybe in some respects, maybe he was right, of course. After his death and the death of the original producer, yeah, the Godzilla series never really felt the same afterwards, folks. Yeah, it has a totally different feel. Whether that's a good thing or bad thing depends on the person, I guess. But in my brutal opinion, yeah, just never quite felt the same vibe as it did in the past. Anyway, folks. But this film is not a bad movie by any means, folks. It's not the worst film that they made from this series. That's definitely for sure, folks. That's far from the truth. And so yeah, I would say give this film a shot, folks. I mean, I was actually surprised the fact that people took this film seriously enough to actually want to see it. So that's definitely a plus there, folks. I do appreciate that fact that people actually took this film seriously to not make fun of it and whatnot. And I was actually surprised that there was a lot of clapping at the end of the movie. Some people were actually pleased by the film, so that was a good response. So yeah, all in all, folks, this was actually a pretty solid film at the end of the day. So yeah, surprise there, folks. I mean, my expectations weren't all that high, really, folks, but I was still hoping that this turned out to be a good film nonetheless, and it actually turned out to be a good film. And yeah, folks, I'm thankful for the fact that the director actually placed a lot of effort into this particular movie, so he's not lazy. I mean, yes, it's a Godzilla film. It's about a giant monster destroying shit, of course. But thankfully, it's pretty good, folks. So yeah, really give this film a chance, folks. So yeah, this Godzilla film, it gets an overall rating of a 7.8 out of 10. It gets a 7.8 out of 10 from me. So, of course, as always, thanks for watching and take care. See ya. Oh yeah.